What's up, y'all? Anderson here, back to talk about Femke Bol. Now, Femke Bol, of course, two-time Olympic medalist, bronze medalist from 2021 and 2024 in Paris last year. Also, of course, has the gold medal in the 400-meter hurdles from 2023 at the World Champs, got the silver in 2022. One of the more accomplished athletes in the world when talking about not only the 400-meter hurdles, which is her specialty, but also just the sport as a whole. World indoor record in the 400, gold medal at the World Indoor Champs, last year as well. She is very decorated, but she just actually announced that she is not going to be running during the indoor season, at least individually. She's only going to be running on the relay at one meet throughout the year, but individually, she's not going to be running. So why is this a story? Well, Femke Bol is one of the most consistent indoor runners that we've seen in the past couple of decades, right? I want to say years, but in a long, long time. And I'm not only talking about consistency in terms of her times and performances, but also consistency in terms of year after year, she always runs indoors, and that propels her to the success that she's produced when we get to the outdoor season. But she posted on Instagram and she specifically said, quote, "After the last Olympic cycle with years full of amazing competitions indoor and outdoors, we've decided to do it a bit different this year. I'm training hard and preparing myself for another successful year on the track, but I also felt that I needed a bit more time away from competing. Therefore, I have decided to not race individually this indoor season." So again, she's saying she's not racing individually. Of course, she's going to be talking about some relays. But again, this is very interesting because Femke Bol has always run indoors year after year after year. But she continues here and says, "It gives me the opportunity to have some more time processing everything that has happened and prioritize more things outside of the sports that are important to me." This is kind of interesting, right? I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what she's hinting at, but, processing, things that have happened to her and prioritize more things outside of sports that are important to me. So I don't know. This could be spending time with friends and family. This could be, dealing with other things that have happened that we will probably never know about, right? But I don't know, even processing everything, that's an interesting choice of words where maybe something has happened to her. I did hear potential rumors that while she was training down in South Africa during the winter and fall season, she might have gotten sick a little bit, not necessarily injured, but maybe a little sick. Possibly she needs to be able to recover a little bit more than she expected because of the illness. Who knows? But it's very interesting kind of wording that she did choose here. But she continues on and says, "However, I cannot and do not want to miss a chance to compete at home championships. So I'll be racing in Apeldoorn at the European Indoor Championships in the relays. And lucky enough, it's the first time there's also a mixed relay. I am looking forward to what this year will bring me. And I want to thank you all for the support. See you in Apeldoorn." So Apeldoorn in the Netherlands, she's not going to miss an opportunity to compete at home with the European Championships. Yes, people in the United States and Africa and Asia, indoor championships maybe aren't as big, but when you're talking about Europe and they have a European Championships, actually indoors or out, it's a very, very big deal. And because it's in the Netherlands, the place where she set the 400-meter world record multiple times over the past couple of years, she definitely wants to be there, but only in the relay. So you'll have 4x4 and mixed 4x4. It'll be interesting to see how she kind of shows up there and what she actually does. Now, like I've been noting, Femke Bol is one of the most consistent indoor runners year after year because she not only drops some amazing times, but she always runs indoors, which is not something you could say for a top, very high profile, very successful and accomplished athletes. Most of these top athletes across the world, usually they don't run indoors at least as consistently year after year. Sometimes they'll take a year off, sometimes they'll run one or two meets, but Femke Bol, she goes all the way through with a full indoor season. I actually made an entire video about, of course, how infrequently Sydney runs, but how also specifically Femke Bol runs so many races throughout the year. Indoors is no different. But let's take a look at what Femke Bol actually has done indoors in terms of the last couple seasons, where we can literally see year after year after year, she is always running indoors. Looking at the 400-meter short track, 2016 all the way to 2019, before she was the Femke Bol that we know her as today, she was running indoors in the 400, 55.9 all the way down to 53.2. So making that steady progress, still young, developing, all that. And Apeldoorn, her home, in her home country in the Netherlands. But as you kind of continue on, she's still running indoors. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And of course, the past 2 years, 2023, she broke the world record indoors, and then she did break it again in 2024, actually broke it on 2 occasions. So Femke Bol has been a consistent stalwart running indoors year after year after year. But like I said, consistency in terms of how often she runs, also consistency in those marks. Look at the marks that she has been able to put down in the 400 meters indoors year after year. 49.17, the world record, which she broke at the World Indoor Championships back in 2024 in Glasgow. 49.24, which she broke at her national championships indoors, in 2024. Prior to that, 2023, broke the world indoor record, 49.27. She had 49.63, 49.69. So you're talking about, 5 of the top 10 indoor performances all time from Femke Bol in terms of 400. There were years where the world record stood as 49.59. For literally decades. 1982, she broke one of the oldest records on the books, and now she just dominates the top of the list. So again, this is going to kind of be a little bit of a blow, because we know we love to see Femke Bol get consistent on the indoor season, and that propels her to the outdoor season. What she said specifically about, it gives me the opportunity to have some more time processing everything that has happened and prioritize more things outside of sports that are more important to me. Again, reading between the lines, no idea, but potentially something did occur. Maybe it's injury, maybe it's illness, or maybe she just wants to focus on a couple other things, or maybe she wants to make sure she's preparing herself for a very, very long 2025 season. Yes, World Indoors is happening in March, just like it did last year, but now we have the World Outdoor Championships in Tokyo all the way down in September. And yes, I know some people are comparing it to the Olympic Games, where it's only a month apart or so, but it's a little bit farther apart. It's maybe a month and a week or two. And yes, it's not a drastic different, but certain athletes who competed all the way to September with the Brussels Diamond League in September last year, or even all the way to, late September with the Athlos meet in New York City, maybe they want to start a little bit later instead of having a full indoor season, peaking in March, and then going all the way down, trying to peak in September as well. It's going to be a little bit different. So I don't know. We'll see how this kind of plays out for Femke Bol. It will be also interesting to see who else is also going to be running all the way through the indoor season. On Citius Mag, Chris Chavez, he actually had an interview with Marcel Jacobs, who's going to be running at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix this weekend, as well as the Millrose Games next weekend, which is going to be pretty exciting. But in here, Marcel Jacobs, he said, what are the immediate goals for 2025 on the track? Marcel Jacobs says, quote, my immediate goals for 2025 include performing well at the European Indoor Championships and building a strong foundation for the outdoor season. Consistency and improvement in every race are my priorities, and I'm aiming to peak at the right moments, just as I did in 2024. So, of course, not going to debate like how Marcel did in 2024. I think he had a very successful season despite not actually winning a medal. But this kind of does tell me that he's not necessarily saying he's going to go to the World Indoor Championships. He will go to European Championships, which, like I said, Europeans, they treat their championships indoors or out like a massive, massive deal. So he's probably going to go to European Indoor Championships and then maybe decide if he wants to go to World Indoors. He's also weighing similar things where long season, I got to peak for indoors, I got to peak for outdoors all the way out in September. Someone like Marcel Jacobs, he's, you can call him injury prone if you want, right? 2022, 2023, and then even a little bit of 2024 dealt with some injuries. He wants to make sure that his body is healthy, he's consistent, and he's peaking at the right moments, just as he said here. So I don't know. Going to be interesting to see which athletes actually choose to go all the way through the indoor season. Femke Bol, she's, cutting things out, not only not going to World Indoors, but only racing the relays at home at the European Indoor Championships. Marcel Jacobs, he said, leaving it still kind of open, European Indoor Championships for now, but we'll see. Let me know what you think about Femke Bol, though. Is this a right move for her to skip the indoor season, at least individually, and only run that one race at home? Or would you like to see her run indoors a little bit more to be able to potentially break her indoor record? She wanted to get under the 49-second barrier indoors, but who knows? We'll see. And then also, let me know, do you think that Femke Bol is going to run more 400s outdoors? I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but maybe if she skips indoors, that will give her another chance to, potentially go for a 400 meters outdoors. We won't see her in a Grand Slam track, at least as a racer, maybe as a challenger, who knows? But wait, I'd love to see her in a 400 meters outdoors. She only has a best of like 49.4. That is well overdue for, improvement. But let me know what you think about Femke Bol. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Be back again next time. Thanks for watching, y'all.